Welcome to Canada's podcast.
Hi, and welcome to Canada's podcast. I'm your host, Celine Williams, and today I'm joined by Adrien Beyk, who's the founder and CEO of Quanta Vici, a Toronto-based smart wearable tech startup that recently launched the world's first smart heated gloves and socks. Welcome, Adrien. It's nice to have you here.
Hi, Celine. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to have a chat with you today.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear, first of all, I'm excited to hear about Quanta Vici because it sounds fascinating, but I'm really curious about your journey to becoming an entrepreneur and to starting this business in particular.
Yeah, I've had a lot of distractions till I got to what I really care about. It started for me as just loving electronics because that was how I could put something together. If I go way back, it started with Legos and just putting things together. I love to make things, and my father he's an electrical engineer, so he always taught me the basic concepts. Hey, this is a battery, this is a LED, this is how you turn it on, and I loved it. It was like magic to me. So growing up, and then I got familiar with programming. I was like, this is better than hardware. You don't have to buy the battery and just connect wires. You just code. You tell the computer what to do, and voila, it does it. So I was I fell in love with programming because it was the key to making the things I wanted to innovate. And so, starting 14 years old, I wasn't doing that well in high school. And at the same time, I was really enjoying programming. Yeah. So it was just the difficulty to follow structure, especially in high school, that was painful for me. So I started working on this project. And I didn't even care for marketing or releasing it. It was just a playground for me. I was hey, I'm going to make an image editor. I want it to be conceptually, I wanted to be simpler than Photoshop, but at the same time offer some complexity. So I started working on it. Day by day, I would develop some random filter. And after a while, it just turned into this huge project, after a year working on it. And I was wow, I'm using this every day for just editing my own pictures. My friends like it. What if I release this? And then it was the most exciting thought at that time. I was wow, what if this has 100,000 users and each of them just pay $1? That's the basic thought every entrepreneur has. What if Canada is 37 million people? What if every Canadian just downloads this app once for 99 cents? I'm going to be a millionaire. So I had the thought. Long story short, I released that app. I was 15 years old back then. It was the first product I ever launched. And it had, after a year, it got millions of downloads. It got really popular. And I made no money. And that was the biggest lesson I learned as an entrepreneur, marketing. That's the thing. So from there, speaking of distractions, not that big of a distraction, I went to university and I started studying engineering. I was under the impression that engineering is what you need to be able to make stuff, to innovate. It's true, but there are much better ways to learn the skills you need for building things. Whether you want to focus on electronic hardware or software, making apps, designing stuff. University is not for, especially something like a program like engineering is not for people who want to really innovate. It's more for people who want to get their checklist checked to get hired at a big company like Amazon or Google, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't want universities to get pissed at me.
I don't think that there's, for what it's worth, I don't think that there's a lot of people listening or who are familiar with the education system who think, you know what's really modern and cutting edge in the world? How we educate students. I think most people would agree with you that we have an education system in general in most parts of the world that is much more focused on churning people out who can do the same things the exact same way than churning people out who can innovate and think independently and creatively. And that sounds like what you were looking for more of.
Yeah, exactly. Semester by semester would pass and I would be like, okay, this course didn't turn out to be what I expected it to be. Maybe that other course is going to be more, involve more creativity. And that one would pass. And I was like, damn, this was just like lab reports and just writing stuff. Gosh, and then I literally had like the last course I ever had, I still had hope for it. I was like, this last one is where I'm going to be able to like do something fun. It was intelligent systems. So it was involving machine learning, which is something that I'm really passionate about. And even they managed to make that into something that was just so mundane and boring and just do it exactly like this. Don't think twice kind of a thing.
Yeah. So you finished university without necessarily the as creative an education as you would have liked. And did you immediately start your own business? What came after that for you?
So, working on that image editor software, it's called Pixel Degrees. We still have a website up for it. I say we, I'm used to it because Quanta Vici is a team, but Pixel Degrees was just one teenage show. So, I had seen the importance of accumulating accomplishments over time, putting in work, consistent work, and how it amounts into something that people can appreciate and love and use. And, in 2017, I was like, it's time for me to start building something new. My friends kept telling me like, wow, like this software is awesome. We were using it in this class. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. But then I had this feeling that, okay, like I was 15 years old. I did something cool, but what have I done since then? Like I need to do something. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm going to have to get a job and make money to survive. But it's time to start something new. So at the time, I had a friend who was suffering from migraine attacks. They were so severe that she wouldn't be able to even go about her day. And she tried different medicines, therapeutic solutions. What turned out to work for her specifically was heated wearables. So applying heat because her migraines were triggered by the cold weather. And, this made me interested in learning about heated wearables today. And what I found is still what I see today, with the exception of Quanta Vici. It sounds biased, but, there is not one person that has tried heated wearables that would disagree with me. So what I found was that heated wearables had existed for over 20 years. And they've all been using the same flawed technology. You look at any ratings on their websites, people are always complaining about the same things: the battery life, the design, the material, the level of heat is not adjustable, and like the list goes on. And I reflected on all of my experience working on my first project, and I knew that this time I have to do it right. I had this really bad feeling, and I'm not the only one. Like as an entrepreneur, if you launch something that doesn't make any money, that has if you're superstitious, it can have a really bad feeling for you. Like, what if I'm just cursed? What if I can't sell anything? What if I don't have the stellar person bone or whatever? And I kind of was afraid, like, what if I can't sell? What if I just don't have what it takes? And for Quanta Vici, I was like, you know what? For this product, I'm going to focus. I'm not inventing heated wearables. I'm seeing a product that has a lot of room for improvements. And I know there is a demand for it. Like there has been products that launched and were successful. So I am going to make it perfect. As an engineer, I know that I should not over-engineer it, but I should utilize my skills and knowledge to find the right people for the job, not pay 50 grand for a basic hardware design, which is a mistake a lot of entrepreneurs make. They think like if you pay a lot of money to some person or company, they would be able to deliver what you want. But no, like I have a whole video about this on my channel. Long story short, that became my mission, to launch Quanta Vici at the same time, not be rushed to get it done. At the same time, I wanted to perfectly learn everything, from market validation, building a minimum viable product, understanding my market, what are the different marketing tactics, how do I do networking, how do I raise money, how do I sell everything. And long story short, fast forward to October 27th, we launched on Kickstarter. Within the first 30 days, we sold 1,500 units, amounting to over $300,000 in funds. And we made it to the top 0.20% of all Kickstarter campaigns with that launch. So that kind of broke the curse of never having sold anything.
So first of all, congratulations. That's incredible that you made it that you did that well on Kickstarter, but it's a great, example of doing doing the research, doing the validation, and then putting it out there, and selling it before, unlike your first product where you made no sales, selling it before it's all together, right? But you have a minimal viable product, how this is going to work. But rather than just putting it out there and hoping people come to you, you put the idea out there with what you have and then let people invest in it. And I think it's really cool. And you've definitely proven that there is a need for innovation in this way. It's funny when you say heated wearables. I was like, I don't even know if heated wearables. Everyone I know, unfortunately, when they need something, still uses those little hot packs like you put in your socks, and right, like that's a heated wearable. That's what everyone uses, and they're terrible.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like I when I was researching heated wearables, I hadn't even heard of those things, because doctors, they give you like these packs that you have to put in the microwave, and that's just scary, like especially for your eye. I went to my eye doctor and I saw he has something laying on the countertop, and like it said like heated something. I was like, oh, that's cool, what does that do? And he's like, oh yeah, like in there's this condition where to help blood flow, you have to warm your eye up, and you put this in the microwave, and after it heats up, you put it on your eyes. And I was like, I don't feel safe doing that, like that's crazy. So, we are hoping that our technology, being so thin and sexy and offering mobility, is going to become the go-to for, all industries.
So Quanta Vici has been funded on Kickstarter. When do you start shipping? I don't know how this all works. So what's the next steps? Do you start shipping soon? Like where are you at with the business now?
That's a very good question. We are constantly recalculating this. It's been so challenging. I am sad that our delivery date was delayed, but I do not regret launching, because especially with all the things that are happening around the world, delays are inevitable right now. And to answer your question, our delivery was supposed to happen in January, and then it got delayed to February, and then March, and then came April. I was like, you know what? No, we're not gonna post another update that says, hey guys, we're like 99% done with production, and then there's just this one component that is yet to be supplied. After that, we're going to deliver. I was like, no more updates until we know exactly when we are delivering. So what happened with our production was that we had begun sampling right after our soft launch. So the way we strategized the whole product launch was actually really calculated. In March 2020, we did a soft launch, having a landing page showing renders of our product, generating leads, running Facebook ads. That's, in the simplest terms, that's the best way you do market validation. I just took a tangent on market validation, but we did our market validation. We saw that our ads are converting into leads at a really low cost, so people are interested, and that gave me confidence to invest what was essentially going to be the down payment for a place to move out to be for production of Quanta Vici. So I started working on production back like a month before launching. And then when we launched, it seemed like we have everything in order. So we told everyone that we were going to deliver in January. And what happened was that on December 1st, that our campaign finished, we successfully initiated our production. Everything was going according to plan. The gloves got produced, the batteries, the socks. And then the one part that I thought would be the easiest to produce, which is our smart controller, the smart device that is the brain of our product, that makes our product really stand out beside the material and design. I started getting these estimated turnaround times from suppliers saying 4 to 6 weeks. I was like, whoa, this is just a resistor. This is a capacitor. This is going to be easy to have. It's common. Every product has this. How do we need to wait 4 weeks for this to arrive? And then from there, my most painful and greatest lessons in production started to be written. We learned that because, you hear on the news that jobs are affected, there is a trade war, but you don't feel it until you have to deal with it. And that's what I experienced. Maybe I'm just dumb and I don't really understand what I hear, but our first, it was a nightmare just ordering our components. For some components, instead of going to the supplier, we had to order from distributors that had a in-house stock so that we could just get what's available in time faster. Of course, that makes the cost be double. It's just screw-offs of a newbie entrepreneur in hardware production. And, to be fair, hardware production is really hard. We had advisors that within a month were like, hey, you know what? You have an app, you have software, you have hardware, you have fashion, you have seasonality. I'm out. I can't even give you advice on this. But so all of that happened. And then after we sourced the components, they arrived in China. And then we hear that there's a tariffs fee. I'm like, the trade war is between US and China. I'm Canadian, hey, we're nice, And then they're like, yeah, but some of your components arrived from US. So we have to charge you a 25% tariffs fee. And I was like, we didn't calculate this in our product pricing. This is gonna be eating up our margins. But we powered through. This is an example of the countless crazy things that are just so unseen, even by the most experienced advisors, that as an entrepreneur you have to deal with. And right now we have a solid delivery date that is for June. I know it's going to be hot, and that's when we are delivering our products. But we extended the warranty time so people would know that we are supporting them. We are not going to be counting the days that they didn't have the product. And, I'm so thankful for our backers. We literally have the most amazing patient backers. Out of thousands of people who backed our project, only a few have complained. And may I say, very fair complaints that I agree with 100%. So I'm not encouraging entrepreneurs to delay their launch, but I'm just thanking our backers.
Well, and I think it's I appreciate you sharing all of that because I think that it's really important for entrepreneurs, especially if you have, like I always say this when I talk to people who are in consumer packaged goods in any way, who have a physical product in any way, is there's a whole different layer of potential issues that could arise and, opportunities for lessons, and call them whatever you want. It's a whole different playing field than a lot of us are on. And so I appreciate you sharing all of that because it's the realities of the type of having a physical product, right? It's the realities of having any physical product, let alone a smart wearable new type of technology product.
Yeah, yeah. After all of that, I was like, no wonder no one else had done this before me. I see why.
So what are the next steps for you, for you as an entrepreneur and for your company once this is done and dusted? June 1st, everything gets delivered. Now what?
I'm an obsessive planner. I have like every Monday, I wake up from like 7 a.m. till like 1. I'm just planning and reviewing the plans. And that's what plans are, like no plan remains the same. What's next for me as an entrepreneur is that, you cannot do everything by yourself. I've been leading the company. I've had the amazing advantage and honor to work with a lot of amazing teams. For example, for our marketing, we partnered with one of the best marketing agencies in the industry. For our some of our development work, we have partnered with amazing people. But through everything so far, I've been kind of pushing the whole boss by myself. And I know that to take things to the next level, we need to hire someone who would be able to take some of this stuff off my plate. So to do that, even though we did really well on our first launch, it's amazing. Like you launch a product, you raise $500,000 with sales, and then you feel like you should be rewarded with an office and a team. But what happens is that you're still at your parents' house, and you're still doing everything by yourself. So this is when we've had the proof of concept. The traction has been proven for our product, and our production has been proved to be feasible with all the shenanigans. And now it's time for us to do an investment round. So we are working right now on a seed round. Mm-hmm. After that, we are going to be able to expand the team. Expanded in the team will allow me to really go for the next phase. And for Quanta Vici, the next phase, just for the heated wearables, is that we want to scale up from the 3,500 units we produced to 20,000. We could have gone much higher, but then two things are kind of preventing it. One, shortages of supplies. We still have to. They are even taking longer now. I just heard like a bunch of car companies, manufacturers have been halted because of this whole situation. And the other one is that I don't like to wing it. I don't. For launch, for example, on our Kickstarter video, the conversion rate was 10 times the average. It was over 30%. And that's because we really focus on all the small details. What do people need to see? Like, we've put in all this effort in the product. We have like a team, we have the technology, we have all of these features. Do we perfectly show it or not? So, we could go for like 200,000 units, but I'm going with modest 20,000 units to be conservative with the growth. And then beside that, I have some ideas for other products that we would do this whole market validation thing and safely launch. And ultimately, one thing that I'm really excited about is the B2B side of the business. As an entrepreneur, you don't want to go against the world. You want to kind of see how can you be helpful. And that's what you keep hearing from all of these guys in Silicon Valley who are like influencers or just like advisors. How can you make yourself helpful to others? How can you be of value before you ask for someone's help? And, our goal as a company is to help people. And businesses, there are a lot of businesses, especially in the fashion industry, who cannot pivot into hardware technology. Mm-hmm. So for them, we have this B2B option where we take collaboration over competition, offering them to license our technology. So that way they can also kind of keep up in the smart apparel industry.
Yeah. So I want to I want to be mindful of your time and start wrapping this up, but I'm really curious, what made you so interested in why entrepreneurship, I guess is my question. Like, what is the reason that you were like, you know what I want to do? I want to really focus on being an entrepreneur, even despite and while all of these things were happening, because a lot of people inside of what you've dealt with in the past, 8 months would have been like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard.
Yeah. I think it was like Jeff Bezos or someone that was saying like, a lot of the times when I was putting in like my A game and all that effort, it felt unreasonable. It was like, this is going nowhere. Why am I so obsessed? And you honestly have to have that mentality. It depends on the type of entrepreneurship that you're going for. Some people are just like selling their service, like a photographer or changing pipes, and that's called entrepreneurship. But if you're creating a venture where there is branding, there is hardware, software, and seasonality and all of this stuff, you kind of have to be crazy to like not give up, because I've been through some really hopeless times, and I have this mentality whenever like something goes really wrong, I'm like, you know what? Good. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to come back stronger. And I've always been like that, like in university, I had to take chemistry for like 3 times till I passed it. I did not like that course. And, every time I failed it, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to drop out, but I'm going to freaking pass this course. I'm not going to let this defeat me. So you have to have that mentality. And why entrepreneurship in the first place? I just love building things. A lot of people share this feeling with me. And, building something, we have this DIY, do-it-yourself culture growing so vastly right now. Well, people are just like even ordering 3D printers that they have to assemble themselves. I'm kind of that guy, but at the same time, I like to do things on a larger scale. Like for Quanta Vici, I could have made these gloves just for myself, but I want to make it in thousands of units, have it sell to everyone. I love that on a single day, I may have to work on a firmware code of the device, do some app design, update the website, do some marketing strategy, do social media management, and then do some onboarding for, like a package designer. And just the variety, maybe it's my ADHD, but I don't know. I just love variety. Yeah. And some people are geniuses, and they just like to go to work, sit down and do the same thing over and over for 20 years. I'm just not that guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm also not that person. So
yeah,
I get it. Adrien, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners or viewers with that we didn't get to that you really want to make sure we talk about before we wrap this up?
No, I would just like to give a shout out to my baby YouTube channel. I recently put this together. As I was telling you before the podcast, there's no ebook that I'm trying to sell or a program that I'm trying to people to sign up. I just really like to bring everyone together, especially entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are truly a different breed. That mentality, that commitment, the devotion, the passion for learning, connecting, and building things together. It's amazing. So check out quantavici.com. And if you like what we have been able to accomplish, I'm going to be sharing some of the behind the scene methods and findings that as we just go along on my YouTube channel, which is literally my name, Adrien Beyk.
And everything will be linked up in the show notes. So if they go to the show notes, they can find that there as well. Congratulations again on your incredible Kickstarter launch and on everything that you're doing. I think it's really exciting, and I look forward to following along on your journey, Adrien. It's been lovely chatting with you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.